Wish I had some of your color. I did get a little color, didn't I? Even on my legs, believe it or not.
You might have to start carrying. You better start carrying a green card, didn't you?
Check. Oh, everybody's still here. That's good. I didn't drive y'all off. Thank you for letting me have a break. How's everybody feeling? Okay, y'all. We're going to start off this set with the title track of my next CD that has not yet come out yet. This is a song about how my wife and I met in the southern Utah deserts. Our first date around a fire in the middle of nowhere. And this song has room for audience participation because it's called You Make Me Wanna Howl. So you just gotta let your wild animal out. Well, let's do a little practice run, all right? Here on the count of 3. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. This one's called You Make Me Wanna Howl.
Lori Hardiman.
Well, I first saw your perfect face. Ooh, in your wild eyes, I went deserts and the red rocks collide. Well, it seems our souls knew just what to do. We spent the evening by a fire, oh, by a fire made for 2. Oh, and it burned. This conversation turned, and the lights shone through. And I can't shake these visions of you, casting spells on me like you do now. 'Cause baby, you make me wanna howl. You make me wanna howl. You, oh baby, you, yeah, you make me wanna howl. Hey, look, it's Logan. Well, we held hands and opened up our minds, letting down the walls we each had up inside. Asked if you would leave with me. You said in due time. And I could see in your eyes it was true. Stars they seem to grow brighter at the sound. 'Cause baby, you, yeah, you make me wanna howl. You, yeah, you make me wanna howl. You, yeah, baby, you, yeah, you make me wanna howl. dance you ain't danced before. I wanna see you smiling on every golden shore. Let's go wild, it starts now. It starts now. It starts now. Oh, 'cause you, yeah, make me wanna have. Ooh, yeah, you make me wanna have. Ooh, yeah, baby, you. You make me wanna hey. Yeah, you make me wanna hey.
Get the best compliment of my life. Look. Woo!
Thank you.
I gotta be careful. She's saying great video.
If you're familiar with the early country music, in the songs of artists such as Hank Williams, you'll hear references to these roads, trails really, in the South called rural routes. Alabama, Georgia, they got rural routes. Texas has farm to market
Stop in
roads.
between.
These are
Wild
unique
type.
southern places of culture where people actually live and grow things. And I lived on a rural route as a child until I was 17 years old. And the rural route that I lived on was a dirt trail. Is there radio on? Can we kill that, please?
It's like all of a sudden you know you're honed in on that.
This is the metal background of this song.
Yeah, no kidding.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I
didn't even notice
myself.
it.
It's all good. That's it, David. So the rural route that I grew up on was called Route 562, and it was a dirt trail that once a year, a certain farmer, whoever drew the straw, would scrape it with a scraper behind a tractor, and so it was carved into the earth, and it was only about 8 feet wide, and anytime it rained, it basically turned into a creek, and that's where I lived. It was about 17 miles from the closest paved road, and usually the rural routes were small family farms, hillbilly shacks, things like that. So on the south end of our farm lived a man who was never home. He lived in a small shack about as big as this area I'm standing in right here with the behind the bar part, 20 feet by 15 feet, in a little shack. He was never home because he was serving a very, very lengthy prison sentence. He was locked up in 1964, and he was released when I was 7 years old in 1987. His name was Spencer, and he was a legend through the region because he was a moonshiner that never stopped when the government told him to, and he paid for it big time. He had a couple of moonshine stills off in the Sweetwater Woods, and was known for selling shine and making a lot of money off of it. But the night that got him in so much trouble, he'd been on the road for 2 weeks running moonshine through the Appalachian Mountains, and he got home with the intentions of taking his wife out to celebrate with the money he had made. When he got back to his shack, she wasn't there. He went to the local honky-tonk where he was going to take her and where everybody he knew hung out. And only 2 people were missing out of all the regulars: his wife and his best friend. So he decided he was going to get very drunk And if you saw either one of them, he was going to kill him. But that's not exactly what happened. What happened is a lot more complicated. And it involves an old man that he believed to this day, that he told me the story at 7 years old. An old man he believed was Satan, a highway bridge, a secret recipe for peach moonshine, and a stick of dynamite. This is called Spencer's Tale. It's on the live album. Well, my name is Spencer. Baby, I'm drinking all the time. Well, my name is Spencer. Yeah, I'm drinking all the time. The little lady I've been loving, she broke my heart, nearly took my mind. Now my friends in town, don't you let her play you for no fool. My friends they tell me, yeah, yeah, don't you let her play you for no fool. They say you need to come out drinking. We'll tell you what your girl's been up to. So we went out drinking. Conversation got a little heated. My friend said, let's take it somewhere nice and low, where no pioneers can go. So we finished our drinks and made our way out to the door. Now there was an old man sitting by the front door. An old man that none of us had ever seen before. He said, I know what you've been going through. I know about the pain in your soul. He said, I got something to get you feeling all right. Jar of moonshine and a stick of dynamite. Well, we got to walking, talking, sipping moonshine, and having a good time and just carrying on. My clock struck 2 o'clock in the morning. I turned to thank this old man, but he was gone. I found myself standing alone, way out on the old Sweetwater Road. My clock struck 3 o'clock in the morning. I turned to thank this old man, and I just hear sirens coming down the road. See, I have some vague recollection of headlights, but from there I don't really remember where the story goes. But I saw my cheap woman come riding along with my best friend, and I knew that they've been doing things that I don't need to know. Well, I hear the sirens are coming, the police come and take me away. must have dynamited the Sweetwater Bridge and blowed my cheap woman anyway. But I can't remember anything, so it's gonna be hard to explain it. When the time comes for Judgment Day, thank you.
I've been sharing it pretty much. It was vintage.
Here's another devil-themed song. Somebody asked me earlier if I had done some freight train riding, and I said I'll talk about it at the show. I've only ridden a freight train one time, and once was enough. The reason I rode a freight train is because I had already hitchhiked 8,000 miles, had already ridden a Greyhound bus across the entire United States, and my friend who did a lot of this traveling with me said, "Have you ever ridden a freight train?" And I said, "I have not." And he said, "Well, let's go right now." We were 23 years old. We went to the liquor store and picked up some of the cheapest vodka, because that's what we could afford, and one breakfast burrito to split between the two of us. And we went to the train yard, and we proceeded to get drunk. And when the train finally began to move numerous hours later, we hopped on. We did not know where this train was going. It was a coal train. I remember climbing up on top of the mountain of coal and tying the bandana around my face and soaking it with water to filter out the excessive coal dust that was blowing in the wind. And when the train hit something around 100 miles an hour, I left my pile of coal because I thought I'd be blown off the train, and climbed down the ladder and hooked my leg in and reached out and grabbed at the sagebrush as we rode into a sunset. It was one of the greatest moments of my life. But 3 days later, when the train was still going, and the vodka was gone, and the breakfast burrito was long gone, and we had to jump off the train at 40 miles an hour into the town of Caliente, Nevada, it wasn't so fun anymore. The whole train ride was a foolish idea. And I wrote this song about it because when we finally made it back to Salt Lake City 2 weeks later, we sat down at the same bar where it all started, and I was writing on a napkin, and my friend said, "What are you doing, writing a song?" And I looked at him, I said, "No, I'm writing a letter to that goddamn train company about how horrible that ride was." And this song is called "Me and the Devil Ride." It has not yet been recorded. Burns like hell, and I rode along the cold black rail, and I was southbound seeking love, with the kiss of the scorching sun, the wild western sky. Me and the devil ride. Yeah, me and the devil ride. So I said, whoa, whoa. Hey, yeah. dark night, somewhere out on a highway. Lord, I'm gonna be wherever my master tells me. 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 I said, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Whoa, whoa. Me and the devil, me and the devil. So come on, sweet lover, take me by the right hand. You and I gonna walk a pathway, seeking our salvation. Seeking salvation, seeking salvation, seeking salvation. I said, whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah. Oh, whoa. Me and the devil, me and the devil, me and the devil. Thank you. Do another cover song for y'all.
Hey Steve.
Yes, sir.
I meant to tell you thanks for
My first tour was from Utah to my home state of
the
Georgia,
song I was asking for again.
and we stopped in Alabama on a day off,
No, it was
Ain't no
and we
sunshine.
had one of the most amazing musical experiences which came from that day in Alabama.
Really good job on that.
you know what? It's just
We got to play some songs at the grave of Hank Williams Sr. Me and my friend.